I just filmed an entire thing and realized that my iPhone had stopped filming. So let's do it again. Hi folks! Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've been here before, welcome back and thank you for being here. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ariane. I am a French illustrator, I am an artist, I live in France, I am French, and this is my YouTube channel where I say I will do many things, but mostly I talk about my sketchbooks. So, if you've been here before, you will know that I have been moving through a bit of an art block ever since. I guess it's been coming in waves ever since I started posting my art on the internet and been, struggling with the expectations of numbers, likes, and will people love what I post, and will I, I've been focusing more on the results of the art making than on the process of the art making. And so I was moving through another art block in the past few weeks and I decided to start reading The Artist's Way again. I read it the first time in December 2023 and kind of started it at the beginning of January 2024, and it was a good read. If you don't know The Artist's Way, I guess you do, but just in case you don't know, it's a book by author Julia Cameron, and it's an exercise book that helps you move through your artist block and kind of reconnect with your artistic practice. It's a good book and it uses two main tools, and the first one is the morning pages. You have to write 3 pages every morning when you wake up, and then the artist date. You have to carve yourself 2 hours every week to have an artist date, and then on top of that you have tasks to do every week, and the tasks are mostly reflective, like things to think of when you are writing your morning pages, and then sometimes you'll have actual exercises. So this is week 2 of me trying to reconnect with my art, and I have been moving slowly through this, but I don't have much to say about this week 2. I've thought about the things I've had to think about, and I thought I was going to be making a lot of art this week, as I've had 5 days off work, kind of like a mini holiday, which has been good, but I spent most of my free time working on reupholstering une malle, and the rest of the time kind of resting. So I have been feeling pretty bad about my art making, but I also have this challenge, as you may know, that I want to finish all my sketchbooks by the end of 2024. And by all my sketchbooks, I mean all the old sketchbooks that I've started like years ago, years back, and that I never finished, because I am addicted to art supplies and I'm addicted to new sketchbooks. And so when they're new, they're all fine, but then they're not new anymore. So I have to finish them, and I have 5 sketchbooks left that I have to finish, and they are a tiny A6 art creation sketchbook that I bought on a whim when I was in Lyon. I have a big A4 cheap sketchbook that I bought at Cultura that is really chunky but has cheap paper, so loads of spread left to do. I've got a chunky watercolor squared sketchbook that I bought at Action, and it's really cheap, like every time you turn the page, like the pages fall off. And I've got 2 sketchbooks that I made myself in July when I was going to go to drawing en plein air drawing workshop, and I don't know why I made them. I don't know, I was feeling motivated this morning and I counted all the spreads that I have left. And I counted the spreads, not the pages, because it's less depressing. But in total, I've got 179 spreads left. And there are 128 days left to the year 2024. So I was thinking I could do 2 spreads a day and then finish by the end of December, and it would be good. But I could push myself a bit, and I've got this huge motivation to start drawing again in my onion skin journal, which is my favorite sketchbook, and to start drawing in this Tillman and Burn sketchbook that I bought myself on a whim last month and that I have not started drawing in, and I really want to. So I was thinking I could try doing 5 spreads a day until the end of September and just finish it all in 1 month. What do you say? Do you want to bet with me that I'll be able to do it? I really want to. Well, I'll show you where I'm at in each of these sketchbooks, so let's get into it. Let's do a little bit of a sketchbook tour where I'm at and where I want to be by the end of September. Let's go. Let's play. So this is the first sketchbook. It's the Tiny Art Creation sketchbook, and it's the one I've got the most spreads left in, but it's also tiny spreads, so let's hope that I'll be able to finish it. I've got 54 spreads left in this sketchbook. My god, I've started it a few months back when I bought it, and I've got cute things in it, but also stuff that I hate like this, and stuff that I love like this. I have been trying not to put too much pressure on myself, but found out that as my first spreads were kind of cute. The first spread that I did something that I did not like. This spread made me block a lot. It made me feel like crap, and then I was like, oh shit, I don't know how to draw anymore. I did this horrendous butterfly that I made a hole in my sketchbook in, and then I tried to do watercolors and I did this spread that I hated. Then this one was okay, but then I don't know what happened with my Neocolor 2s on this spread, and then I received the Artex acrylic markers, and then I did a little poopy on this page, and I did this thing that I really loved the visuals of Ponyo, but this thing, I don't know, doesn't look like stuff that I would draw. And then my sister came to visit me and she did this spread, and then I haven't been drawing in this anymore. At the end of the sketchbook, I do have some spreads of swatching of my art supplies, and that is cool because this one is a tiny sketchbook, and I can take it with me whenever I travel, and then I will have this as a reference of all the stuff that I own, as to not buy stuff twice because I've already done this. So this is the Tiny Art Creation sketchbook, sketchbook number 1. This is a cheap A4 sketchbook that I bought at Cultura, and it's got 47 spreads left, and it's a lot because it's got very thin paper, so it's chunky for one, and then the paper is really thin, so in a big chunk of paper you've got huge amounts of paper. And some recent new stuff that I done in here is this Tombow color chart. I felt like I had loads of Tombow markers, and I wanted to know on the scale of all the Tombow markers that exist, how many do I have? And turns out not that much. So this is really satisfying to me to look at, but also I feel like it feeds my addiction to art supplies. And at the end, I did the same thing with my Neocolor 2s. Again, very satisfying, but also, yeah, also makes me want to buy stuff. Look at this little monster. Meow. Yeah. Yeah. Stuff I've done in here, this you will have seen, and this, and I've been trying to do stuff and to not care as much about the results, but this really made me feel like crap. I did it with the Artex acrylic markers, and it really looked like a tiny child did it, and I hate it. And then I did this with watercolors, and I mean, it looks like a big poop as well. And then I did some studies of some modèle vivant. I don't know how to say it in English anymore. So I did this quickly, and I think I will do more of these as they fill out a sketchbook quite fast. I think it was like 30 seconds and then 10 seconds, and the first ones were like 5-second poses. So yeah, I really like this one. Yeah. And then I tried to draw from memory after I saw the last Studio Ghibli, The Boy and the Heron. I thought it would be cool to try and draw from memory, because I always draw with a reference image and then I feel crappy about what I draw because I feel like I didn't invent anything. So I wanted to work on my memory, and then I did some Scribble Brigade stuff. Really satisfying pages, love them, really love them. And then I did this spread without any reference image, and I really loved making this spread. I would love to do more spreads like these. I did this with Tombow markers and Neocolor 2s, really love it, and one Lamy Safari with green gold ink from Colorex, love it. And then some tiny studies about a book that I want to write and illustrate, and some more studies, and I pre-laminated the paper with ink, and I love the result. I did this drawing that I really loved making and love the result of. And then some more research of stuff, and a Scribble Brigade that was really difficult to move through. And then I did some studies of an illustrator whose name is Jo Ryu. I did some studies of this because I love how loose and squiggly and round every one of their mark on paper is, and I feel like my marks on paper, my like instinctual marks, are more squared and more pointy. I don't know if this makes sense, but whenever I draw, there's like, you know, it's pointy, it's not as squiggly. I'm trying to get more loose and more round, but everything I do is kind of, whenever I don't think, it's got angles in it that I don't want there to have. So I've been studying the squiggly lines, the more loose mark making, and so that has been really interesting to study, and still very squiggly, still studies of Jo Ryu. Yeah, squiggly lines. And then I was feeling completely drained, and I just made some marks and shapes and colors, and that's it. That's where I'm at, and still got 47 spreads. That's sketchbook number 2. Sketchbook number 3 is this squared watercolor, very cheap sketchbook from the brand, I don't know, I bought it at Action, and it's a really cheap sketchbook, and I think it looks really ugly with this, I don't know, textured gray cover. I hate it, but it was really cheap. It was like 2 or 3 euros, I think, and it's got watercolor paper, so good. And I still have 37 spreads left, but it's at a stage where I don't know if I can work with spreads anymore. I will do whatever I can, but it's good because I have to practice watercolor. And what I've been doing in it is swatching mostly, trying to work with colors. So as you can see, it holds watercolor really way better than the previous sketchbook that I showed you. And yeah, I'm really trying to work with shapes and marks and tints, different scales of greens, and you know, doing some swatches, doing some stuff. Nothing really interesting, but I feel like I'll be able to fill this if I do some studies of watercolor. And that was the first time I used it and did some scribble brigades in it. So yeah, this one will be a swatchy, exercisey kind of sketchbook, and I cannot wait to finish it because honestly, I hate how it looks, so I usually don't enjoy getting it out much. But yeah, grey sketchbook, 37 spreads left. Oh my god. Next sketchbook is this huge watercolor sketchbook that I made myself. I book bound it and everything. I cut the paper and all, and it's the huge A4 sketchbook that I made myself for watercolor for when I did the art retreat 3 days workshop. And I've got a page of swatches and then another page of swatches, and turns out it's not really good watercolor paper. It's not really textured, so I can't use watercolors in a way that's really interesting. You know, it doesn't do much nuance, which is a shame because it's supposed to be watercolor paper. It's Clairefontaine 240 grams, I think. It's really thick paper. So in this sketchbook, I have 29 spreads left. But the thing is, there is a side that is really smooth and a side that is more textured, and I don't know if I'm going to work with every side. This is stuff that I did during the workshop, and then I didn't use the smooth side because I was working with watercolors, and then I did this spread that is, I think, one of my favorite pieces I've ever done in a sketchbook. Like, I did it en plein air and it was beautiful. I was next to this beautiful hydrangea plant, and there was the lake, and Heidi Pell, who was doing the workshop as well. I love this. I really love this, but I haven't done anything else inside of that. So I've got everything to do in it. I have no idea how I'm going to use it. Am I going to do studies in it? Am I going to try and do finished drawings in it? I don't know, but still have 29 spreads left inside of this. And the last one of the sketchbooks is the sketchbook that I made myself. It's the twin of the previous one I showed you, and it's got less thick paper. It's the one for mixed media, but mostly dry media. And this one has got 12 spreads left, and I used it thoroughly during the 3 days workshop. I did some studies of plants and, you know, en plein air stuff. Plants. My first composition, that is really, I hate it. And then this, that I hate even more. But you know, I learned a lot while doing this, using this sketchbook, so I feel like it's going to be quite, maybe quite easy to finish. I would love to finish it, like using it the same way I used it during the workshop, like going outside and trying to draw stuff outside. But I know it takes loads of time. But yeah, this is the last thing I did in it, and it's still got 12 spreads left that I will maybe go in my garden and study some plants inside of it. But yeah, the main difficulty with the A4 sketchbooks, and this one and the previous one is even bigger than an A4. The main difficulty with an A4 is filling the page. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to try and do 5 spreads a day until the end of September and finish all these sketchbooks, and follow me if you want to see if I manage to do it. I thought I would film a little bit of an outro. Thank you for watching. I really do hope that I will manage to do this, because my my cat is being naughty. I really hope I will manage, because I really want to be finished with these sketchbooks, and I will try and film the process of me doing my 5 spreads a day for a month, and knock on wood, I will do it. Do you think I will manage? Do you think I'm being too hard on myself? Let me know in the comments. And you know, every comment counts, so thank you so much for leaving comments on these videos. Bye, bye love. Tira det av vackert. Vill han